Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Garage Topics. Today we're going to finally finish up this engine bay for now. We wanted to make it clean because it looked like it hadn't been cleaned in a while. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. Grease on some grounds, good. Grease everywhere else, not good. So we'll clean it up, finish the air intake install, and maybe even paint some things. Let's go. To start off, the filter that came with my used air intake system was disgusting. The K&N cleaning system came with my car, thank God, because I really needed it. You spray the stuff on, you let it sit for a while, then you rinse it out with some water. I went extra heavy on the spray cleaning because it was disgusting. You'll see here that just spraying that on made my hands disgusting, and then it was just leaving a mark without even putting any water down. So next thing we had to do was just rinse it off, and it completely destroyed the bathroom sink. Good thing my wife was not around to see it. But it was going to get our thing clean, and I actually had to do this a couple times because it was just disgusting. If your roommates or significant other, whoever else is living with you in the house, asks you why the sink is filled with coffee, just go with it. Say it's coffee. Don't tell them what it is, but make sure they don't drink it because they probably would die if they drank this stuff. After doing that several times, we have a much cleaner air filter. And the way you can tell that it's clean is if you put it up to a light, you'll be able to see some light coming back through it. Before, you could not see any light coming back. The fluorescent bulb shows up through the filter now. And it looks really cool with this fluorescent bit. You want to let this dry for as long as possible. I went ahead and sped up the process by just getting my air hose from the air compressor and spraying it out. Even when I did this and it felt like it was dry, it wasn't. So let this dry. If you can, let it dry overnight. While we waited for that to dry, I went ahead and started to clean the engine bay. I got an old glove and put it where the air filter would be. And then, because I'm cheap, I had some wheel cleaner left over that was the cheap kind. I sprayed this on, not heavily, just a little bit. I didn't want to over spray and get anything messed up because I didn't know how powerful this would be. Heads up, it's not that powerful. So then I got an old rag and just started scrubbing around where I could. This helped the process. It probably would have been fine without it, but this went the extra step. Unfortunately, I was rubbing the valve cover and some paint came off, so that might need to be painted soon. But again, just being careful, slowly going around where I wanted to have cleaned up. Mainly where the paint's at. And then I got my trusty the water hose out. I don't spray it down like crazy because I don't want to ruin any electrical outlets, but get it wet, get it clean. And then with a separate rag, I went ahead and dried as much as I could off, and this helped clean some of the leftover gunk as well. Specifically that hood, ton of gunk up there. At this point, my air filter was completely dry, and I added a little bit of oil to it from the kit. Not a ton, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it'll work for now until we get the other one back on. Turns out that the rubber coupling that sits inside of this air filter is needed for it to work in this air intake system. So I'm going to need a different step-down coupler to make my other air filter work. Also, this needed to be pushed into the metal housing of the air intake, so this would have been a lot easier if I had done this off of the car, but I just got a screwdriver in there and made it work. And what this did is it made an airtight seal, and it made this whole box a lot more sturdy than it was before. This rubber piece still looks like doo-doo, so we'll clean this up in a little bit, but overall I'm pretty impressed with this air intake system. Hopefully you guys can tell how much cleaner everything is. It definitely did knock off some paint from the valve cover. That's okay, we'll paint that later. The thing that sticks out to me like a sore thumb still is that this battery cover is like rusty. I'll probably get a nicer one, but I don't like it being all rusty like that, so I'm going to put a quick coat of paint on this. To start this off, I just got a 10mm socket piece. These Hondas have like a stem that comes down and it clamps the battery in place. It's not clamping it for its dear life because it would crack the battery, but just keeping it in place so it doesn't move around. I took that off, put it over to the bench, and assessed the damage. What you can see is a ton of rust up top, but the bottom two had potential for rust as well. It looked like it was powder coated maybe, but it was all flaking off, just trapping in moisture. As you can see, it's basically like shedding a snake. Kind of gross. The more and more I looked at this thing, I wasn't going to keep it, so I just got a sanding brick out, just half-assed did a job of sanding it so that some paint would stick to it. I also went ahead and cleaned it off when I was done with this as well. Then I took my endeavors to the professional paint booth, which is known as a cardboard box from Amazon. You can see it's still rusty here, but I'm gonna replace this thing. I'm not keeping this in the car. A little light coat of the cheapest paint I could find, which is some Walmart dollar brand black paint. The final touch to my ghetto heating booth was a heating system, so I got my heat gun out. Probably shouldn't do this, but it helped dry it really quick. Once that dried, I went back and put it on the battery. I left those things in place so I didn't have to fiddle around with where those hooks hook into the bottom of the battery tray. Made life a lot easier. And like I said, just snugged them down, didn't clamp them and worry about breaking anything. Made a huge difference in how the engine bay looks. Finally, the engine bay is in a position where I actually don't feel guilty popping it at a car show or looking at it. So it's not 100% clean. I want this to be a driver's car, so I don't want to have to freak out if I'm going through a puddle or not, or if there's dust out, I don't want to freak out. It'll get cleaner as we take things apart and add things. Once I take them out, I'll clean them, do a better job. For now, it's good. The next thing I think we need to do is the front bumper. It's not aligned properly, it's missing some bolts. There's some bulbs in the headlight that need to be addressed. Also, the headlights are a little bit hazy. And then what everyone is waiting for is to reinstall the OEM lip back on the bumper. It was held in by zip ties when the previous owner got it. I figured I'm gonna put that lip back on when the bumper's off the car to make my life easy. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Thanks a lot for watching all the videos on the channel. If you like the video, be sure to like it. If you like the channel, subscribe. And tell your friends. If they like cars, come on over. If there's anything you want to see on the channel, stuff you don't like, stuff you do like, let me know. That's the only way the channel gets bigger and better. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch it today. Take care. Make sure that your dog doesn't eat any chocolate because he will die. Catch you later.